Yeah, so anyway, Nick Furry, the furriest. He actually is furry in this one. He's got a huge beard. So I'm delirious from filming this 2 times in a row. So okay, well, Secret Invasion just came out on Disney Plus, and the first episode was on Thursday, and I thought it would be fun to go ahead and review episode by episode. The beginning of this, I will not be going through any spoilers. I will just kind of give you a brief rundown of the plot of this story. Then we will get into my thoughts, and then a little bit later I will be talking about spoilers, so I'll let you know though so you don't get spoiled. I am actually not going to go through and give you like what I think might happen in the future, because I watched a lot of people's reactions to WandaVision and everybody had their opinions on what was going to happen in WandaVision and their theories of what was going to happen next, and they were always wrong, and it actually like ruined my TV watching experience when I heard everybody's theories and stuff, because then I got my hopes up for certain theories that didn't happen, or I was spoiled, and it just wasn't a good experience. So I will not be going through and giving you my predictions of what is going to happen of this show, but we are going to review it, and it's still going to be fun. So let's go ahead and get into it. Thank you so much. So Nick Fury has been off-world post the blip, and he has been trying to find a new home for the Skrulls. And if you don't know who the Skrulls are, they are the alien race that is from Captain Marvel. That's when they were first introduced to us. They need a new planet, and so they've been living on Earth. Nick Fury has been kind of helping them on-world, but then now he's been off-world for a while, and the Skrulls need a new planet, and a lot of the Skrulls have been deciding to make Earth their planet, and they're kind of doing a secret invasion, and it makes Nick Fury have to come back and kind of figure everything out and rescue everybody and save the day while also helping the Skrulls out as he promised. So that's kind of the synopsis of the whole story that we know of so far. Things can change. We don't know everything yet, but that's kind of the gist of it. I am going to be completely honest. I don't really care that much about Nick Fury. He has never really been my favorite character, or like even in like top 10 characters, I would say. I also don't really care that much about Agent Hill, and they work really closely together, so I was already anticipating Agent Hill being in the show. Also, the Skrulls, I don't really care about the Skrulls all that much. With Captain Marvel, I didn't like Captain Marvel. This is a lot of negatives, I know. I didn't like Captain Marvel, so I didn't really care about the Skrulls. Everybody's like, whoa, he could have been a Skrull here. Like, I don't really care about that kind of stuff. Like, that's not super interesting to me. So this show wasn't really intriguing to me when I first saw the trailers for it. Also, a big problem that has been happening with the MCU TV shows, they've been kind of anticlimactic. As a whole, the TV shows have been pretty good. If you look at them as every single episode as if they were all one movie, they're pretty good. But when you look at them and you break them down episode by episode, there's like a lack of interest in some of them. For example, when you're watching Loki, the whole TV show is amazing, but then there's certain episodes where you kind of lose interest a little bit, or there's like they don't really drive you to really be intrigued enough to want to keep watching week by week by week. Same thing with WandaVision a little bit. There was a couple episodes that were like, okay, that felt like a filler, but you needed to know certain things. Same with Moon Knight. There was some episodes that kind of like kept you wanting to watch more, but then there was others that you didn't really get anything out of them. It just felt like plot filler. But then when you finish the show, then you're like, wow, that was a good show because of blah, 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 blah. Like the climax is always at the end of all these TV shows. They don't really treat them like individual episodes and individual like shows. It's just like one big movie broken up into 6 different episodes. So I was kind of worried about that with this one. Like, am I going to want to watch next week? Am I going to be engaged enough to actually like care about what's happening, you know? And I will say they seem to have fixed that error a little bit. I know it's only the very first episode, but as I said before, I don't really care about the characters and I don't really care about this storyline. And I was intrigued enough to want to watch the next one. And I'm like kind of excited for next week to see what happens next. If you're worried about the cadence of each of these episodes and if they're going to be like good, so far with episode 1, it is good. It leaves you off on a cliffhanger, and they treated the episode as if it was its own little story going into the whole. So it was a good introduction episode, and it was really fun to watch. It was interesting. It kept me, I wasn't bored through it. It ended so that I wanted to keep watching, which is really, really good. It kind of reminds me of the opposite of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I actually liked the plot and I loved the characters. I thought like as a whole it was pretty good, but then episode by episode it just seemed like lackluster until it was at the end. Then it was interesting. But this one, it just seems like they kind of got the memo and they're going to be treating it like an actual series. They all have their own like standout things that are going to be interesting and want you to come back. So I'm excited about that. And so far, it's doing really well. And when I say so far, it's literally the first episode. So whatever, take that with a grain of rice. That's not a saying, but okay, whatever. This show also has a lot of the recurring cast that I was already talking about. Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson. Who doesn't love Samuel L. Who doesn't like Samuel L. Jackson, right? It has Agent Hill, and this first episode had Martin Freeman in it, and I love Martin Freeman. He is Agent Ross in the MCU. And then we also get Emilia Clarke, who is brand new to the MCU. She's our newest MCU cast member. I love Emilia Clarke. I think she's an amazing, amazing actress. She is probably one of the greatest actors in our generation right now. Like, she is just so, so good. So if you like Emilia Clarke, if you like Martin Freeman, if you love Samuel L. Jackson, you're probably gonna want to watch this show, even if the storyline doesn't intrigue you all that much. Brief overview. The show was compelling enough for me to be excited for next week. It wasn't slow paced. You get a new look into Nick Fury, and if you really like the Skrulls and that whole plot line, then I think you're really going to enjoy this show. But I'm going to be talking about spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, go watch the first episode, come back, and then we can have a cool fun discussion. So let's go ahead and get into it. It starts off with Agent Ross. He gets this call from this other agent who's like crazy, like conspiracy theory, like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? The Skrulls are taking over. Wah, wah, wah. You know the meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? That's literally this man. Anyway, and then you later found out that okay, you later find out that Agent Ross was not the real Agent Ross, that was a Skrull impersonating him, and then you find like this whole new world of like Skrulls basically trying to start a World War III or another world war so that the human race kills themselves fighting with each other and then the Skrulls can take over. And how they're doing that is Skrulls will pretend that they're American attacking the Russians, or like people from Belgium attacking France, you know, like whatever. I'm just like rambling on and on and on about what happened. If you've seen it, you know, so you could just like skip through, I guess. Already off the bat, I kind of like this plot point because I just thought it was gonna be a bunch of green aliens like attacking Earth, but it's not. It's more complex than that. And it's actually more interesting when they put it this way. Everybody, like all the humans, think that other humans are just attacking one another, and instead of like the Skrulls just like outright attacking Earth, you know? Because they could have easily just had like Skrulls attacking humans and like attacking Earth and like wanting to have Earth as their planet. But they're doing it in a secret way, like a secret invasion. So that's pretty cool. Even though he was a Skrull, I liked seeing Martin Freeman. He's one of my favorite MCU like side characters, I guess. And he was just It's just fun to always have him on the screen. And then you get a look into one of the ally Skrulls, who is, I don't know his name, but he is the father of Emilia Clarke's character. It's intense. You kind of, right off the bat, get a feel of who all these new characters are, while also getting reminded of the old characters. And I really liked the costume of Nick Fury as well. I like how they dressed him, and they made him look like a disgruntled old man with a furry beard. He's obviously traumatized by something. He is kind of lost his touch a little bit, is what everybody is kind of saying to him. And then everybody's like, you can't do it anymore. You said you were going to help the Skrulls find a planet, and you haven't been. You've just been like off world this entire time. The blip changed you. And he's like, well, he like kind of doesn't believe them. I just kind of like that storytelling. He doesn't have his eye patch anymore, and he looks just very like angry. The makeup is really cool. He and Agent Hill's relationship is like not as strong anymore, and she kind of feels betrayed by him. The Skrulls feel betrayed by him, even his allies. And so that's pretty interesting as well. And you also get this like British lady character. I don't know her name. I really don't. I guess I could look it up. Olivia Colman is Special Agent Sonia, who's also a fantastic actress. She's in it. She even says, like, you lost your touch, you're an old man, like, my people were able to, like, kidnap you. And he's like, I let your people kidnap me. And from the trailers, she seems to be kind of maniacal, a little evil. We're gonna see a lot more of her, and probably not in the best ways. And so that kind of seems a little interesting. And then also, the big heavy hitter at the very end of the episode, Agent Hill dies. What? I, again, don't really care that much about Agent Hill. I never saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I didn't really, like, grow up caring about that character, but I was really shocked. I was like, what? Because I know she is, like, a very essential piece in the team of S.H.I.E.L.D., as well as, like, Nick Fury's right-hand man, woman. She dies, so we think. We actually didn't see her take her last breath, so we don't know for sure if she's actually dead, but she gets shot by a Skrull, the leader of, like, the Skrull organization, pretending to be Nick Fury, and then he, like, shoots her, and she's like, you shot me, and he was like, it wasn't me. But yeah, so she might not be dead, because, you know, good old Marvel fashion. You never know if somebody's really dead. And so she could not be dead, but she is, like, supposed to be. We're thinking that maybe she is dead. So that was a little bit of a shock to me. I was like, whoa, first episode right off the bat? And that's what I'm talking about when I say, like, it intrigued me to watch next week. Because I am interested in seeing, like, what's gonna happen. Is she actually dead? Is she gonna come back? Is, like, does he save her? Like, what happens? Does that fuel him to, like, want to progress even more on Earth? That kind of thing. So that was a good cliffhanger. And that was a good way to end an episode without me being like, ugh, I don't really care to watch next week. The ending was good. I love what they're doing with Nick Fury, because I don't really care that much about Nick Fury at all. And I'm interested to see this new phase of what's going on with him. So, and I'm excited to see all the reoccurring cast. We already got Rhodey back in there. He's working at the White House. Storyline seems good, even though I wasn't interested in it in the first place. It was intriguing enough for me to want to watch next week. It kept me on the edge of my seat a little bit. So if you really like the Skrulls, and if you really like Nick Fury as a character, then I think you're really gonna like this show. And I would honestly like to know what your guys' opinions are so far if you've seen episode 1, because I don't know much about this storyline, and I don't really know that much about, like, the Skrulls and stuff. So I would like to know your opinions of what's gonna happen next, as well as any theories that you may have, because I don't want to theorize, because that ruined WandaVision for me. But if you want to theorize, go ahead and do that in the comment section down below. We can have a cool dialogue going on. I will be reviewing Secret Invasion episodes week by week. Next week, I will also be reviewing the new Indiana Jones movie that's coming out, because they definitely have not milked Indiana Jones enough. The last one with Shia LaBeouf wasn't very good, so I don't really think that this one's going to be very good, but we will see next week. So if you want to see that review, go ahead and like and subscribe, and maybe turn on your post notifications, because, you know, YouTube might hide me from you and you might want to see more. So, I don't know why I keep going into a southern accent. It's probably because I'm here in Texas. And yeah, I don't know, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Sorry, when I get passionate, my dog comes and wants to say hello because he thinks I'm angry, but I'm not angry. Say hi, Cujo. Say hi, puppy. This is my dog, Cujo. Hi, honey. I have two doggies. This is just one of them. Oh, big yawns. Do you want to say something? Hi. Okay, nope. Nope. You're gonna go that way. Okay.